What can be wrong with too much protein? Protein is often thought of as a virtually magical nutrient, one that can do no wrong. The myths surrounding protein can often reveal some of the wrong thinking that can cause problems in the average diet. While protein is vital to every cell in the body, it can be a major problem when it is consumed in huge amounts, especially in some conditions. Just as it is important to get healthy sources of fats and carbohydrates in the proper amounts, it is just as important to get the proper amount of protein, also. The amount that should be eaten by each person can only be accurately determined by the person's doctor or nutritionist, who will look not only at current weight but health condition and activity level as well. Protein myths that never go away. One myth is that you should never eat any fat, which is not possible. Another claims that all carbohydrates are bad for you. These are just two of countless myths related to foods that just never seem to go away no matter how much information there is to the contrary. Just like those that surround fats and carbs, protein myths can be outrageous and are often more wishful thinking than anything else. However, if you are eating too much protein or trying to avoid it altogether because of an erroneous myth, it is important to get the real facts. Some of the most popular myths surrounding protein include, bodybuilders get huge because they consume large amounts of protein. You can live long-term on an all-liquid, protein diet. Protein is never stored in the body as fat, only fats and carbs are. High-protein diets are healthy and safe for everyone at any age. You need more protein in your middle age than you do as a senior citizen. The following information will seek to disprove some of these myths so that everyone can eat balanced and nutritious meals that have the proper amount of protein, carbohydrates and fats for their individual body needs. Bodybuilders and protein consumption, being the most common of the protein myths. This one relates to bodybuilders and the huge canisters of protein supplements and other products that promise to bulk you up quickly and easily. Many people think that if they gulp down powders, bars and shakes before or after they work out, they will achieve the same results. Bodybuilders do not get big and buff because they increase their protein intake to extreme amounts. Instead, they get big because they are genetically predisposed to getting big, because they work out every single day of their lives and because they eat carefully planned meals that do include some additional protein but also many other nutrients as well. Bodybuilders typically only need between 1.2 and 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of their body weight, not far above the 1 gram that is needed by the average person who can be considered to be very active. To put that into perspective, very active exercise is typically defined as moderate to intense exertion for 30 to 60 minutes at least 4 times a week. This could include power yoga, which means that the slender and flexible yogi or yogini needs just about the same amount of protein that a bodybuilder needs to add to their diet. Living long-term on a liquid protein diet? Another common protein myth is that you can comfortably and safely rely on a liquid protein-based diet for the long term without any adverse health effects or problems. Number 1, humans typically cannot rely on a totally liquid diet for longer than a few days or a few weeks because they miss the mouthfeel of real food. This leads to cravings, which will typically kick off a diet-ending food binge. In addition, it is nearly impossible to get enough calories in with an all-liquid protein diet, leading to related problems that include a slowed metabolism, amenorrhea, loss of the menstrual cycle, and constipation. Source: the Vanderbilt University Psychology Department. High-protein diets may also lead to problems that include having an electrolyte imbalance, which can in turn lead to problems with irregular heartbeats. Source: www.columbianetSS Winter95Diet.html. Irregular heartbeats in turn can lead to heart attacks if they are allowed to continue. Protein is not stored in the body as fat. The high-protein diets may suggest that it is only fats or carbohydrates that are stored as fats in the body. However, this is erroneous. Calories are all treated the same way by the body. The body uses what it needs as energy and then the excess is either stored in the glycogen stores to be used for secondary energy or stored as fat. There are some very complex mechanisms at work to decide what goes where, and how much food is burned as energy and how much is stored as fat can depend on the amount that is eaten plus how high the blood sugar is raised because of the meal. Here is another myth at work, the thought that only carbohydrates or fats raise blood sugar levels. All foods have some effect on blood sugar and the release of insulin. Foods that cause the highest spikes in blood sugar will cause the highest release of insulin, which in turn will lead to the highest level of fat storage. While it is true that highly processed, easily digested, simple carbohydrates will lead to sugar spikes, complex carbohydrates like whole grain breads and pasta do not cause this surge and are far more slowly broken down and used by the body. Protein is stored in the body as fat. If there are more calories being consumed than being used, it will be stored as fat. High-protein diets are not safe for everyone at any age. Any diet that focuses more on one nutrient than others should be considered unsafe. An unbalanced diet can lead to deficiencies in other nutrients. In the recent past, a high-protein diet suggested that you eliminate most, if not all sources of carbohydrates. Unfortunately, many people found out that they could not stay on this diet plan for long periods. It was later learned that good carbs needed to be included in a healthy diet. Likewise, some diets suggested eliminating all sources of fat, which also turned out to be not only difficult to maintain, but unhealthy as well. Higher protein diets should not be confused with high-protein diets. Slightly increasing your protein intake each day can help you to lose weight because it helps you to feel full for longer on less food. A slightly increased intake of protein is needed for those who are lifting weights or actively exercising more than 4 days a week. However, there is no need to go to the extreme with protein intake. High levels of protein can lead to gallstones as well as the most common type of kidney stone, the calcium oxalate stone. Ironically, high protein may also contribute to osteoporosis, especially if it comes from animal sources. Protein that comes from meat or other animal sources increases calcium loss and weakens the bones. Source: Neil Barnard, MD. Eat right, live longer. Other conditions that might be affected by a high-protein diet: chronic fatigue syndrome. CFS sufferers tend to have more food allergies than other people and will feel better once the allergies are detected and treated. The ability to digest protein tends to be one of the biggest problems seen with this condition. HIV. People who are HIV positive do need to get enough protein in their diet, however, they should be getting the right amount for their individual needs because too much can lead to dehydration. Parkinson's disease. People with this condition are typically treated with levodopa, which is an amino acid. Because proteins are made up of amino acids, they may interfere with levodopa getting to the brain. On the other hand, trying to eat too little protein can mean that too much of the medication will get to the brain. Source: Robert G. Feldman, MD.